Hello, Rahul. Welcome again to the Positive Leadership Academy podcast. I'm so excited to have you. You are, and we can celebrate, you are the first guest that I have back in the show. So kudos for
Awesome.
you as well.
Thank you, Javier, for having me on the show. We had some great experience together in the last podcast, and I found you as a very interesting host. And when I created my framework of leadership, you were one of the first person I wanted to reach out so that I can share the framework with your audience. So thank you for having me
Absolutely.
back.
Absolutely. And for the people that are listening and watching us for the first time, on the first time that Rahul was here with us, we talk about one of his books because he has published many, and it's called Habits Number Four Miracles. So Habits for Miracles. And I know we were talking a lot about intentions and mindfulness and gratitude. And I think those are great foundations to be a great leader. Especially for me this year, I'm working in and really be mindful and being in the moment and really sucking that moment that we only have, right? Because the past is something that we keep recreating in our minds, and the future is a dream that has never happened, right? So really sucking the moment in the present. That's something that I'm working on, and I know your book is really good. I encourage people to go ahead and purchase it, and also listen to that episode that I Rahul for the first time. But like you say, we're here to talk about your framework, right? And I know in your framework you identify four distinct stage of the corporate leadership, right? The one that you call the Klein framework, right? And I'm just curious, what trigger, what inspired you to develop this framework?
Absolutely. So, when I entered the corporate world, Javier, I noticed that leadership is not about titles. It is not about the hierarchy, but it is more about continuous reinvention. And I have hired many young professionals throughout my career. And one common observation I had that many of them failed to reach their potential. Only few of them came to a level where they could influence others. They became influencers throughout their career. So that realization that why people who had great potential failed to succeed was my driving force, and how I can help young professional to be intentional about their leadership journey rather than giving the baton of their own journey to someone else. They take the control. And that's how this client framework I created. And it is more about the confidence and the collaboration. It is not always about the skill. Many people think that you need to be very good on technology, you need to be very good on functional skills to become a leader. My experience says that it is not about confidence, it is not about competence, it is about collaboration and confidence. So these are some of the insights I had during my experience, which really helped me to create this framework line. Very simple and easy to use.
Yes, absolutely. And it resonates with me because when I am coaching, especially young leaders that they're perhaps 4 years, 5 years into their careers, you can see them getting stuck in things that they're really from a perspective of, hey, the leader that you want to become is like it's really small things, small obstacles, I call it, but they kind of get stuck into that. And then from there, they kind of, like you said, they say, well, maybe I need more degrees. Maybe I need to get more experience. Maybe I need to get more knowledge.
Yeah, yeah,
And I agree with you on that collaboration, right?
correct, correct.
And you mentioned the invisible and potential states, right? And we talk about how many young leaders kind of feel stuck and also unnoticed as well.
Yeah,
Because I remember when I was going through the corporate world, I had really good mentors that say, we need new blood. We need people to step up to the plate. We need people to take over what we have built, right? So those are really good encouragement for a young leader to take over and
sure.
move forward. But what do you think? There are some practical steps that young leaders can do that, especially the ones that feel stuck on the small obstacles that I call it.
Sure. So first, I want to reiterate what you mentioned earlier was people try to look for things externally for their growth, which is more trainings, more certification, better manager, better company, and very rarely we do self introspection. So when it comes to the practical steps, the first thing I would recommend is own your growth. The only person responsible between you and your success is you. Your organization may not consider you as a leader, but if you want to become a leader, you need to be intentional and you need to own your growth. Number two, which very, on a daily basis, I teach my kids as well, speak the language of solution. And what I mean by this is whenever you have a problem, always think of a solution and get that solution when you go with that problem to your leader or a manager. Don't just point out the issues, don't just point out the problems. Go a step forward and provide solutions as well. And they may be right solution, may not be right solution, but at least you are thinking on the solution. And last but not the least, I will also recommend is focus on building micro collaboration. And what I mean here by micro collaboration is find out small projects within the organization where you can contribute. This is another thing, Javier, I have mentioned. I have seen in my experience that employees are only restricted to work in their own teams, within their own department, within their own business unit. They are not seeing the bigger picture. They are not seeing the bigger organization. They are not volunteering for maybe committees. They are not volunteering for some, let's say, if it is a holiday party or it is any fun event, they can be part of the committee. My request would be focus on those micro collaboration. These experiences will help you gain visibility, build your confidence, and get you noticed to the people that probably may not notice you because you are only working within your own team, within your own department. So these are the three things I would recommend on your growth. Focus on use the language for solution and micro collaboration. Focus on micro collaboration.
Exactly. And when you talk about micro collaborations, I remember when I was managing a team, one of the things that I emphasized was creating internal internships, I will call it.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say, hey, listen, talk to whatever department that you might be interested in doing something. Either it can be product marketing, product management, it can be engineering, accounting, market, you name it. Go to them, say, listen, Javier's giving me, 5, 6, 7, 10 hours a week. Can I do an internship with you? And I will encourage that because, well, number one, that will build, their resume. Number two, it will increase their interest if they want to move in the company so we can keep talent. And number three, it created a lot of communication within the departments that I was doing sales.
Yep.
Sales became a really active and really connected department to the all departments, right? So we have less friction as well. So I always encourage that, and I agree with you, is looking for those opportunities to collaborate, right? And being a solution provider instead of waiting to be told as well, right? That I think this is very powerful as well. And one thing that I want to kind of point out, I know you're talking about bad manager or bad company. And I coach a lot of individuals that obviously, if they feel discomfort right away, they're going to jump ship. They're going to look for other companies as well. But I always ask them, hey, what else can you be doing in the company that can shift the current situation that is happening around? Because a lot of people, they always want to be in a comfortable place, but sometimes being uncomfortable is not the way to become the leader that you want to, right? So I think that's something to think about. I know you mentioned that leaders are not born, they're made, right? So you mentioned that leadership is an art and it has to be intentionally developed, something that you work on, every day. What are the biggest misconceptions that you see professionals have about becoming a leader?
So, one thing I want to mention is people who are born in a business houses who have been seeing their family members as a leader right from the age they were born, they have a more ability to become better leaders, but it is not just restricted to them. Others who are not coming from the business background can also become a leader. And the first misconception I have seen is you become a leader once you get a title of a leader, which is so not true. Because I believe that you are a leader the moment you enter an organization. You are a leader when the moment you are in your kindergarten, honestly. You are a leader of your own self. You may not be managing a team, you may not be managing a bigger organization, but we all are managing ourselves. So we are leader for our own self. So this is a bigger misconception, which is you become a leader once you have a title. The number two misconception I have seen, Javier, is you get leadership training or you ask for leadership training when you become a leader. This is unfortunate that 80% of the organizations do that. They only provide leadership training when someone becomes a leader. And being a head of L&D with my previous employers, it took a hard time for me to implement leadership training early on. I got a lot of head on from my leaders saying that they are not supposed to lead. They are just the producers. Let them produce. Let them focus on functional. And it was a little challenging. So that is the second misconception, that you only go for leadership training when you become a leader. And the third piece I have noticed is leadership is all about having all the answers. And in my opinion, it's okay not to have answers. It is okay to say as a leader that you don't know. Because as a leader, you are a lifelong learner. You are learning things. We don't learn everything from mother's womb. We as leaders, we also learn as we are experiencing different things. Case in point, yesterday, it was the first time in my life I played pickleball. Okay. I've heard about pickleball from so many weeks, so many months, wanted to go, but yesterday we had a community tournament. The first time I played. And when you do not play anything from an outside perspective, you feel that, oh, what an easy game. But when you enter the court, when you actually play the game, you realize the nuances of the game. So, leadership, sometimes when you are not a leader, you may think, oh my God, why my manager is behaving like that? Why my manager is not doing it? Oh, it is so easy. It is so simple. It's very easy for us to judge when we are not on the seat. So my only 2 cents here would be, don't be so much into leadership, or don't just blame your leaders just because they are not doing things that you want them to do. Try to be in their seat and focus on things that are from a futuristic perspective, not just from today's perspective. So these are some of the common misconceptions I have observed, and I hope that resonates well with our audience.
Yes, absolutely. The other day I saw, about L&D, right? Somebody comes to L&D and say, "Hey, listen, I need you to put leadership training that will increase 50% of the performance." And the guy goes, "Go ahead and shoot me. Like, go ahead and just don't rely on me, right?" And I totally get that, because I think a lot of companies, obviously, they start implementing leadership training or leadership development or executive coach. You need a coach. Let me get you a coach. So a coach can fix you in 3 months of all the things that we haven't provided you at the beginning of your career. And I agree. I think leadership development should start day one, right? Day one. So people, the collaborator and also the leader, can really understand, hey, what is the process that needs to take place and build your career as well. Um, you talk about creating leaders by choice, not by accident. I agree with that. Can you walk us through a proactive leadership development plan? How it looked like for someone that in the achiever state trying to move into the influencer state?
Absolutely, absolutely. So, when you're in achiever state, the way I've described in my framework is you are a clear achiever, clear performer, and the challenge that you face in that state is you do not know the direction. You are just achieving result, 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 and one day you realize that why I am running, what is my goal? They don't know. So from an achiever to influencer, you need to focus on these 2 to 3 things, I would say. Number one is focus on increasing your impact of influence, which, as I mentioned earlier about micro collaboration, you need to collaborate with different teams here. You need to collaborate with different employees. In fact, Javier, I have noticed that when you are leader for a specific team, and if you are going in an elevator, company elevator, you don't even say hello to people who are not part of your team. I say that when you are a leader, you are not just leader of a team, you are a leader of an organization. So don't differentiate your team members with other team members. You are a leader of that organization. So every employee of that organization sees you as a leader. So if you are a person who are only restricting yourself with your own team, open your horizon. Try to provide a helping hand to other team members, members of other leaders as well. The second thing I would recommend is focus on your communication. And what I mean by communication is the team briefing, or probably if you are giving a webinar to a wider audience, try to get any opportunity that come your way, which will allow you to get a diverse background people, diverse teams people in front of you. That would be the second thing. And the third thing I would recommend is tell your people how you can help them to climb the leadership journey. Don't just focus on helping them when they are coming to you. Take that initiative of mentoring others, volunteering to mentor other team members, volunteering to mentor new team members, become a cultural ambassador of your organization so that you get to interact with diverse group of people. Those are some of the things I would recommend people in the achiever state to move to influencer.
Yes, absolutely. And when you mention about the elevator, people coming into the elevator and they're not acknowledging other people that they work with, right? I have seen that when I was working in large companies. And one thing that I learned is stop being so self-centered, right? I mean, if you're a leader, you're leading people, right? You are giving people the chance to become better every day and really help them achieve excellence, right? Because the excellence, it's gonna pay you back, right? That's what they hire you to be a leader. So when you become so self-centered that you only do things for your interests, and it can be not saying hello to anybody in the elevator, that creates that as well, and that creates that separation as well. And that remind me because I used to laugh. I used to say hello to everybody. Some people don't even say hello. It's like they feel like, well, what is it for me, right? That to create this rapport with this other manager as well. So I have one last question for you, and this is for listeners that want to start their leadership journey and be more intentional. What will be a first action that you recommend to take after listening to this episode? Because I believe that you can get all the knowledge. You can listen to 1,000 podcasts. You can take online courses, but if you don't take action right away, nothing happens. Right? There is no movement on what you desire to be.
Absolutely. So the first thing I would recommend them to identify the influential leaders that they admire and identify the qualities on those leaders. So let's say if you admire, say, Barack Obama or Lionel Messi, whoever you admire, identify those qualities that you admire about them. And the second thing I would recommend is try to gain opportunities where you can implement those qualities in your day to day life. Just admiring the leader is one thing, but if you do not implement what you admire about them, then it is just not that impactful. So that would be the second thing. And last but not the least, Javier, I would say is have a coach or a mentor in your life. And I'm not saying you need to pay $100,000 to hire a coach. It could be in your organization, it could be in your church, it could be in your family. More importantly, you need someone in your life who can tell you about your blind spot. That is number one. Who can coach you when you are in your low time without any judgment, without any fear, without any personal interest. Because when you are being coached by someone who believes in you, who has a selfish, selfless interest in you, you would be in a better shape. And the other thing is, I've also noticed, as you rightly mentioned, it is not about the number of trainings, it is not about the number of podcasts you watch. 90% of the time, or probably 99% of the time, Training is not the solution. The level that people have reached, they probably know everything. What you need is a different perspective. And that different perspective can be given to you by your leader, by your coach, by a mentor. So if you do not have one, very high time you need to have one, because they will tell you your blind spot. And even the best of the best coaches need coaches. So I have many, and I'm sure Javier, you may have many. So it's not that only you need coach only when you are in a problem, only when you are not doing good. No, that is a big misconception.
Exactly, exactly. Great. Well, I really want to thank you for being again. Like I say, congratulations for being our only guest. I've been here twice. So hopefully you will come back again and share with us our success. I have checked your website and you have some goodies there. Where can people find you?
People can find me on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the best way for people to reach me. It's my full name, Rahul Karan Sharma. LinkedIn, if you search, you will be able to find me. And if you send me a message about that you heard me on this podcast, you can get a free coaching call where I can help you get clarity in your leadership journey.
Great. Well, thank you again.
You're welcome.